Hi guys, this is Sydney. Today I am here to do a review and comparison of these new foundations I've been using lately, and these are the foundations that I'm going to be talking about today. There's one Rose shop brand which is Espoir, and there are two sort of higher end brands which is Este Lauder and YSL. And the Este Lauder one is something that I've got from their launching event of this particular foundation. I've actually done like different tasks to get this foundation, and these two were sent to me by the brand, but I wasn't told to show them in my videos or anything. I just decided to do a comparison and review of these three foundations because I think I got them around the same time, so I was curious to see how different or similar they are. So the first one is the Espoir Pro Tailor Foundation Bee Silk, and the shade I've got is in Ivory Y, which I think is a bit too light for me. The brand for some reason sent two shades. I think the other one was Ivory P, which is more sort of pinky base, but I decided to go with Ivory Y, which I'm pretty sure you'll be able to tell from the swatch that is way too pale for my skin, but I just kind of went with it because I just wanted to see how it wears on my skin. Apparently with the new Bee Silk foundations, they are lighter than the original or the previous Pro Tailor foundation, so you might have to think about that before buying it. And when I first pump it out, you can definitely see that it's liquidy, but as soon as I apply it on my skin, it kind of goes matte or silky as they say it. And when I first did the swatch, I kind of failed because I didn't know that it would be so high coverage and kind of thick on the skin, so I obviously didn't know that a little goes long way. So I finished the half of my face first and realized that it looked way too cakey and thick on my skin, so I went ahead and used less amount on the other side of my face, and I felt like that looked way better, so I decided to wipe it away on the thicker side and reapply it to show you guys how it looks on my face. And it just looks matte. It doesn't provide any kind of glowiness on the skin, which personally isn't my type of foundation. But the thing is, I think I wore each of the foundations for around 5 to 6 hours to see if it kind of goes patchy or if it goes greasy or it kind of oxidizes on my skin. But with this foundation, it didn't oxidize at all, which I think is really good. But after 5-6 hours, I could tell that it kind of went on the dry patches on my skin, which isn't really good because I personally have very dry skin, which means I do have a lot of dry patches during the colder months of the year. But another good thing is that it doesn't really transfer to anything. So when I tried to show you guys how it transferred, I think it barely transferred onto my fingers. And I've also done the hair test, which is where I just threw my hair on the face and saw if my hair was stuck to my face, to just show you guys how sticky the foundation is after I've applied them on the face. And with this foundation, I felt like compared to the other ones, the hair didn't really stick to my face, which shows that it's a super kind of matte and silky texture after I've applied it to the face. So I think it'll be better for those of you who have oilier skin. If you have dry skin like mine, I think I would probably stay away from this foundation. But if you need something that is really long lasting on the skin, I think this would be a great foundation. And the next foundation is something that I am wearing on my face now, and I feel like I've been reaching for this foundation the most after discovering it, and it's the Este Lauder Double Wear Nude Foundation. The shade I've got is in Cool Vanilla. The lady who was working at Este Lauder matched me to this shade, which I think is a good match, but like the name suggests, it's slightly more on the pinkier and the orangier side than being yellow. And the first thing everybody would kind of notice is that it doesn't have any pump. As far as I know, you can buy it from their counter, but I haven't had the chance to go and purchase it yet, so I'm just using it as it is, and it's very inconvenient. As you can see from the swatch I tried to do, I just got way too much out on the back of my hand, which is a complete waste. So I think rather than just pouring it on the back of the hand, it's good to go like that and use whatever that's on your fingers. So that's how I've been using it. Let me just wipe this. And when I first heard that Estee Lauder is coming out with a moisturizing and kind of slightly more lighter coverage foundation, I was super thrilled because I know Estee Lauder's base products are amazing, but they are just way too dry for my skin. So I was super excited to try it out. And when I first tried it, I knew that I instantly fell in love with the foundation because it just applies so thinly and it just blends into the skin instantly, which is amazing. And I felt like it wasn't really that bad in terms of the coverage. I know some people say that the coverage isn't really high, but for me, I personally found it to be not that bad considering the fact that it's such a moisturizing texture. A lot of foundations I've tried before, they look moisturizing in the first place, but after time goes, it just looks matte and kind of stuffy on my face, which isn't something that I like personally. So I really liked how the foundation didn't look drying on the skin as time went. But when I did the hair test, you can definitely see that it kind of stuck to the face because it's such a moisturizing texture. But when I was taking the hair out from my face, it didn't really leave a lot of marks. And when I also did the transfer test, it didn't really transfer a lot. But what I realized after using this foundation is that it kind of lingers to the wrinkles of my face. I do have a lot of wrinkles under the eyes, and I found the foundation to kind of accentuate the wrinkles of the face because it's a very moisturizing texture. So although I am using this foundation like non-stop right now, I don't think I'll be reaching for this that much during the hotter months of the year. I think it will be a great foundation for dry skin girls like me, especially during the colder months of the year. And last but not least, I've got the YSL All Hours Foundation in the shade B20, and I think I got asked about this foundation quite a lot as well. When I first heard about this foundation, I thought I wouldn't really like it because, like the name suggests, all hours, it means that it's long lasting on the skin, which then leads me to think that it's a very matte texture. And when I pumped it out on the back of my hand, it was by far the least runny foundation. And if you see the swatch, it's a very yellowy color compared to the Estee Lauder one, which is very pinky. When I first apply it, it kind of looks moisturizing, but as soon as I blend it in, it kind of goes semi-matte and it just sticks to the skin instantly. So I found it to be very long lasting, and it just didn't really move around on the face. But after a few hours, I found it to look a bit too matte and drying on my skin, which was a shame because when I first applied it, I think I really liked it because it didn't look that matte. But as time went by, it kind of looked matte on my skin. So being someone who likes that dewy and glowy look all day long, I didn't really like that finish, but I didn't really see it clinging onto any kind of wrinkles or like around the nose, which is really good. So although it's marketed as a really long-lasting foundation that is slightly on the matte side than being glowy, I think dry skin girls still could go with this foundation if you are looking for a really long-lasting foundation that doesn't look kind of patchy or kind of dirty throughout the day. As long as you do your skincare properly, I think you can definitely wear this foundation, especially during the hotter months of the year. And if your skin is slightly on the oilier side, I think this would be a great foundation, but it wouldn't give that kind of natural look like the Estee Lauder one would. So if you are the type of person who needs a lot of coverage and needs the foundation to look good all day long, I think this would be a great foundation. I personally have been mixing these two foundations together to kind of get the best of both worlds because I really like this foundation as it's very moisturizing, but the downside is that it kind of settles in the wrinkles of my face, and this is really good because it doesn't really do that. It avoids the foundation from settling into the wrinkles of my face. That's why I've been mixing these two to kind of make the best foundation for me. I have been reaching for this the most, but if I was to kind of go out and be outside all day long and kind of film under very hot lights, I think I'm gonna go with this foundation. So that was my review / comparison of these three foundations, which are fairly new in the market. Bear in mind that I have very dry skin and I personally don't really like very matte look on my skin, so you have to bear that in mind and make sure to go and test these foundations out to kind of see what's best for you. And also do let me know in the comments below if you have tried any of these foundations, and if you have any favorites, let me know. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for tuning in till the end of this video, and I'll talk to you guys again in my next video. Bye!